glad to be here.
Hey, Aubrey, introduce yourself.
Aubrey Shepherd, former English teacher in college, trained under Dick for my last few years, and retired outdoor writer.
Edward Higmanic, I'm a woodworker and environmental activist.
Alexander, general troublemaker.
Yay!
Great
Columnist, regular columnist. Make sure you catch your columns in the. Where do you find
Thank
them
you.
now?
Thank you.
Thank you for this color.
Tuesdays, so that's when they put the community writers on Tuesdays every 3 weeks.
In the Northwest Arkansas?
Well, yeah, in the Northwest section, they kind of put it on the paper they print.
I caught your last one. I saw it.
You'll also find Lowell Grisham and Hoyt Purvis in the same spot every Tuesday.
We never know where we're going to wake up.
It's going to be Tuesdays from now on.
Thank you all.
Your stuff's been
No, look, both of them write fantastic columns, so make sure you catch those. You say your name?
Yeah, Michael Banizo, my wife.
Chris McNamara. I am an economics and finance student at the UVA, and I have a background in social service.
And he's a member of the Citizens Climate Lobby, and he's going to the Citizens Climate Lobby conference.
My name is Caitlin McNamara, and I'm a social work student at the UVA. My name is Nestle Silva, and I'm also a social work and Spanish student at the UVA.
So we so appreciate both of you coming and just giving me a call and calling these people here. We'd love to give you information.
My name is Barry Bennett. I'm a German English teacher and translator, and I am really disturbed about this clean power line that is proposed from Oklahoma to the TVA in Tennessee, and I'm also very disturbed about this pipeline, which is also proposed from Cushing, Oklahoma to Memphis. But
We'll talk about that.
thank you.
Emma Badgley, I'm a concerned citizen. That's about it.
Nice to have you concerned, Emma.
I'm Dick Bennett and a co-founder of the Omni Pizza.
I'm Lynn Farrell, and I'm a big fan of a nice, healthy planet, and I'm also with Jim, Judicial Equality
Everybody hear that? Judicial equality
for mental illness.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Active.
Thank you.
You've made the biggest headway of any group I've seen this
Thank you.
And I'm Laura Tiffany, Director of Omni Center.
Don Austin, concerned citizen.
No, Austin, I don't think I got it either.
Nope.
Robert, are you ready? While we're getting this last, if anybody missed it earlier, this is the book for next month, and there are some free copies on loan in the back. This Changes Everything by Naomi Klein, really worth the read.
Joey, I got passed over.
I'm sorry?
I got passed over.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm Gary Huxell. I'm an ecology professor. I was at South Florida and mostly farming these days, doing some consulting work. But I just went back and got a master's degree in environmental law and policy.
Hey, Robert.
All right.
You want to introduce yourself?
I'll introduce myself. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I'm Robert McAfee, and I'm from Packett, Arkansas, which is about 12 miles south of Fort Smith on the Arkansas-Oklahoma border, and a member of Omni and the Citizens Climate Lobby, and currently on the Arkansas Public Policy Panel's Citizens First Congress Steering Committee, and chair of the Environmental Caucus. And Shelley and I had hoped to have some legislators present today to talk about the legislative session and what's going on. They're very busy. They're working on their pay raise. you know. They're not sure doubling their salary is going to be enough. But no, seriously, and it's just a coincidence. During the session, the Citizens First Congress Steering Committee, we have a conference call every Friday at 3 o'clock to go over what happened that week in the legislature. So, thus far, it's been actually pretty quiet in the legislature. Only about 300 bills have been filed, and normally during a session, anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 bills are filed. So you can imagine with that much going through, our legislatures do not have time to read them, even if they wanted to. So what they rely on is information from us, and then lobbyists. And if you ever go to the Capitol during the session, you'll see about 500 people swarming around the Senate and House chambers in suits and ties, or dress suits. And these are all paid lobbyists, 500 plus. The people working on the more progressive issues, such as for the environment and so forth, maybe one or two. The Arkansas Public Policy Panel has a couple of people working on education and environment. So that's what we're up against. And so I think one of the things to our advantage is to become informed about what legislation is happening and so forth. And this is what the Arkansas Public Policy Panel does during the session. They have 6 to 12 interns reading every bill that comes through the legislature, and then they process according to the Citizens First Congress 10 priorities. And the Citizens First Congress is a group of 55 organizations around the state which meet every 2 years and select 10 priorities to work on in the following year. And I'm just going to run through those real quick, and that'll help make sense of when we go through some of these bills. The first priority is to improve opportunities to learn for all students, support a sound state budget, and renewal of the private auction, support energy efficiency, renewable energy reforms that reduce carbon pollution and save money and create jobs, develop a new state water plan, oppose all attempts at state-level immigration reform, support prison reform and judicial equality for the mental health, fair election reform, address wage theft, raise the minimum wage, and implement worker safeguards, create an Arkansas Civil Rights Commission, and reform eminent domain to protect citizens from corporations. So, as you can see, it's a very broad platform, and it's just always amazing to me. I've been involved with the group for 8 years. With the small amount of resources, what they are actually able to get done, and it's through the help of individuals like us. I'm going to mention now, and I hope I'll mention it again at the end of the thing. During the session, the Citizens First Congress sponsors lobby days in Little Rock. We will have one September the 10th.
That's February.
I'm sorry, February the 10th. I don't know more. February the 10th, which is going to be focused on Southeast Arkansas, but everyone needs to attend. And then February the 25th, there will be one on environmental. There will be an environmental caucus lobby day. March the 10th, there's another lobby day primarily focused on education. And then on March the 25th, there'll be a youth lobby day. And generally, there are hundreds of students that show up for that. So those 4 days, it's very important if you have the opportunity to go down. There's a training information session at the beginning. There's either a lunch or breakfast with legislators. And then you have the opportunity to go visit your legislature in the state capitol, or sit and watch the House or Senate in session. If you haven't had that opportunity, it's really wonderful. Okay. So I'm going to shut up and get back to the computer. One of the very nice things about our legislature, if you go there, they have pages and so forth out there. You can give them a note and say, I want to talk to my legislator, and that legislator 9 out of 10 times will leave the session and come out and listen to what you have to talk about. So you have a very powerful voice, and at first, if you have never done it before, it can be intimidating. But those people are just like me and you, and they are our legislators, and they're supposed to be looking out for our interests. So we have to make sure they do it. Okay, As I said, there's not many bills so far this session, and the way the Citizens First Congress has broken down the legislation that's come through is by priority, and just simply by the alphabet. And so a couple of priority bills that the Citizens First Congress will be supporting is one, to appropriate funds to the Department of Human Services and Medicaid expansion. That's the renewal of the private option bill. So House Bill 1147 is one that we need to keep an eye on and make sure our local legislators support. Okay. Senate Bill 148 has been introduced and referred to committee, and it provides additional funding for drug courts through the establishment of a $250 fee for a person appointed an attorney and a $25 fee for each conviction and participation in various drug court programs. So this is one that the Citizen First Congress is looking at and wants to support. Okay, now the other thing that the Citizens First Congress, their interns, do is look at bills that should be opposed. And this is just as important as supporting bills, because we need to know what bills we need to make our legislators aware of to oppose. The first repeals the Health Care Independence Act of 2013. That's the private option. So that's a bill to repeal that. It is in committee, and I'll stop right here for just a minute. The committee structure in Arkansas is very important. That's actually where most legislation gets killed or goes through. If it's not going out of committee, it's not going to go to the full House or Senate. So that's where a bill can easily be defeated or passed. So it's important to understand the committee structure. And the Citizen First Congress has a publication, their 2015 Legislative Directory, and it's a breakdown of all the state districts. And what's good about it, it gives you a district-by-district representation of who's on what committee. Now, if you go to one of the lobby days, you'll get this publication, or I think it's online at the Citizens First Congress lobby day, or contact the Arkansas Public Policy Panel and ask for a copy. It's a wonderful resource, and while I'm talking, I'm going to pass it around just to show you the in-depth analysis that the group has done so they will know if someone in your district here is on a very influential committee. And one of the most powerful committees for environmental issues is the Insurance and Commerce Committee. Don't ask me why it happens like that, but that's the committee that most environmental and energy issues pass through. So I'm just going to pass that around. Okay, I'm going to just run through these pretty quickly. Those three bills that are opposed, House Bill 1181, Senate Bill 144, is all bills aimed at killing the private option. So, and the other almost scary thing to remember about this is to continue the private option is going to take a 3/4 majority in both the House and Senate. So a very small number of people can block it or kill it, even if Governor Hutchinson is in favor of it.
I see. Fayetteville's Collins is on that.
Yes.
One of those.
Collins, Linda Collins, yeah.
He's a pro-gun guy.
So that's not Charlie Collins.
No,
That's
it's
not Charlie.
not.
Charlie Collins is actually in favor of the private option.
This is a woman, Linda Collins
Linda
Smith.
Collins Smith.
Sorry.
Did you
Yeah.
vote for him?
Oh, Collins Smith, okay.
It's a different
Collins Smith, yeah, she's
Now,
District 19.
Yeah. Also, the Congress tracks bills that really are not part of the agenda, the 10 priorities, but just to keep an eye because they might come. And just for example, there's a bill 1188, appropriate funds to the Department of Environmental Quality. And it's going to be important to look at that because already the Department of Environmental Quality has been reduced by 3.5%, just straight across agency cuts. So this may be one place in the budget where they try to cut certain aspects. For example, the carbon rules, the EPA air pollution rule may be defunded. All right. Now, if we go into the economic priorities, a bill that should be supported is creates a sales tax exemption for service organizations such as the Lions Club, Masonic Lodge, and local clubs, the Optimist International, etc. Okay, there is some discussion about this bill. It has been recommended that it be supported, but with the caveat, something will have to be cut if that goes into effect. Because as you know, Arkansas has a balanced budget, it has to be balanced. So if they cut some source of income, some spending elsewhere is going to be nixed. So while on the face of it, it sounds very good, and it's not a large amount of money, but it's something to bear looking at or keep in mind. And again, I think this is why we are fortunate to have the Citizen First Congress. And if you're interested in, if you're more of a geek, you can go to their website and sign up for email alerts and so forth. And they will, you know, keep you informed about similar to this. And another bill is House Bill 1007, requires state income tax reductions. Again, this is another one to watch, you know, where those reductions going to. Initially, some of the tax cuts were going to really affect the higher income people. House Bill 1048 changes special fuel taxes to a percentage of the sale tax, make various changes to distribution. These are all bills which the Congress are just tracking, creating a tax on e-cigarettes, requires members of teachers' retirement systems to submit disability applications, make changes with board membership, and again, until the full extent of these bills are known, there's no recommendation really whether to be for or against. All right, in education, the CFC recommends supporting House Bill 1011, which allows a higher education department to place a hold of up to 24 months on various state scholarships in case of family or personal emergency or medical expenses. So what this is saying, if someone gets the lottery scholarship and something comes up, presently they lose that. What this would allow is a student who received that scholarship would have 2 years to go back and claim it. You know, that just, people, you know, things happen, deaths in family and so forth. So this is, I think, a pretty good thing. It's a compassionate measure. Now, on the flip side of that, we need to oppose Senate Bill 3, which holds the award of scholarship money under the lottery until the student finishes the freshman year. So they wouldn't get any money until they finish the freshman year. So, again, that is going to be a real disadvantage to low-income people. Yeah. Because not a lot of people could upfront that cost, hence that's why they need the scholarship. So that's one that definitely needs to be opposed.
Put them off after the first year if they don't do well the first year.
Exactly, that's what happens now. If, you know, they don't meet the standards in there, they'll get renewed scholarship. But to put that kind of a burden on people, it's just really unfair.
It defeats the purpose of the scholarship in the first place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Then also we need to oppose Senate Bill 5, which is just the same as House Bill. So that's the two bills. And then Senate Bill 30 reduces the number of teacher development days from 10 to 6. So what this bill would do is reduce in-service development or whatever things teachers do from 10 paid days to 6. And most teachers, or a lot of them, tell you they really need more development with the nature of courses and sophistication and so forth. A couple of bills in education which are being tracked is the Senate House Bill 1051, which creates the Public School Efficiency and Evaluation Task Force to consist of House and Senate chairs. And again, no one's quite sure what that's going to mean. Is this going to take authority away from the Department of Education? Again, it's just a bill to watch. Senate Bill 32 is the appropriation bill for the Department of Education. Again, this is one that needs to be watched because it's not out of the realm of possibilities that there would try to be some money taken away from the Department of Education to create charter schools backed by the Walton Foundation, which was attempted in 2013 but failed. Other bills being tracked, authorize members of the teacher retirement system from 5 years. And these are a lot of technical bills, and I'm not going to take up a lot of time on those. A couple of bills to oppose is deletes the requirement that 10 years of experience in the field of education be required of the Commissioner of Education, includes experience as a teacher and at least 5 years of administration and supervisory experience. So basically, what they're trying to do is be able to appoint anyone to that Department of Education, whether or not they have any experience in education, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But, and also, Senate Bill 76 allows public schools to exceed the state mandated maximum class size for one semester per year if the class begin the semester in compliance and does not exceed the maximum by more than 10%. So this is, again, another technical thing about class size. The class size, varies depending on what grade. So what this would allow, if a school, has a, let's say, 5th grade class, and the recommended size or the standard size is 28 people, and it goes up to 35 midway through the semester. A lot of cases you would then have to hire a new 5th grade teacher or whatever. This would give the school district the opportunity for one semester to not have to do that. And then in the following year, if there were more people in that class, then they would have to hire 2 teachers to maintain the class size. This again is one that needs to be tracked because there could be a lot of room for abuse of this, and teachers are concerned. The AEA is looking at that. Okay. Now this is one that the Citizens First Congress really had no thoughts about or opinion on, or what it really means. It sets school board member terms at 3 years, and previously school board terms were 3 to 5 years. I don't know what the difference would make. I don't know. That would be something I think educators need to find out. The rest of these are pretty much along that line, different things with the school districts, one prohibiting school districts from joining organizations that use district funds for outside the school district. I'm not sure what that's about. House Bill 1080 exempts from Freedom of Information Act certain documents and materials in the possession of a community college or higher education institution created or collected during the course of academic research that have not yet been published. So there's some question about that. On the face of it, that sounds very good, that the freedom of information could not go to ARC and say, I want all that unpublished information you have there. So I think that's maybe a good thing. But there's a flip side of that. ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, which is a conservative group funded by the Koch brothers, which drafts a lot of legislation for state legislatures, has a bill similar to this, and what it does is subvert EPA and ADEQ from issuing reports with their scientific data unless it is published. Yeah, for example, their carbon rules coming out, you know, the reports, their standards, if that is not published, then that could not be made public. So this is one that is going to have to be watched. 1086, again, these are technical things which the Citizen First Congress is following to see what pans out. Now on election reform.
Robert?
Yeah.
On the FOI thing,
Yeah.
isn't it, if there's any public funding whatsoever, you're exposed to FOI?
Yes.
And so, are they trying to draw a boundary where public funding is and is not?
Well, yeah, you would, someone that would have to look at the full bill that's come out, you know. Yeah, because, and that's why I said the red flag raised on that. On the surface, it sounds really good, you know, for academic research and so forth. But I don't know, man, you know.
Smells.
Yes, yes, yeah, exactly, exactly. It smells very much. And particularly considering what side of the aisle it came from. Not to be, you know, partisan, but you know, that's the way it is. Okay. Now, with election reform, some bills that need to be tracked. House Bill 1006 to join and participate in interstate compacts seeking to initiate Article 5 amendment to the U.S. Constitution that would limit federal outstanding debt to 105% of the current year. So that's basically a federal balanced budget amendment.
How can they do that at the state level?
Well, the states have to yeah, you know, the states can initiate a constitutional amendment. Yeah. So this is basically what they're calling for as a balanced budget for the federal government. You know, which they would want to call for a balanced budget amendment to be, you know, the states, I'm not sure if it's 2/3 or 3/4 of the states can call for that, and then it has to be ratified, you know, by the states.
So why is that recommend, what is there recommend on that?
Just to track.
Just to track, okay.
Just to track, not to support or oppose at this point, yeah, just to track it. Because again, there's a red flag, there's...
Yeah, why not oppose?
Yeah, exactly. So, the House Bill 1054 requires governing bodies to record all executive sessions and appoint a custodian to hold the records for 1 year and provide it to authorities in the event of an investigation. Again, that sounds good, but considering Nate Bell is a representative from MENA, and if anyone knows anything about Arkansas politics, he's one of the